Hello and welcome to our December 2025 collective energy forecast. If you are watching the Mystic Message, you'll get the first chunk of this. If you're watching the energy forecast, you'll get the full thing. So essentially what this is what is coming for December, which is big. We're coming to the end of the year. We're coming to winter solstice. We've been feeling a building. We've been feeling this feeling of something is going to shift this winter. We're going to come into next spring feeling like almost a sense of renewal that we could not have foreseen, a clarity that we couldn't even conceptualize, right? Because our minds, we can't imagine things that we don't have a basis for. It's happening. This is truly happening. We're getting to a beautiful, beautiful place. So to get there, we're closing out this year with a bang, like a bang, right? So the first thing, so what's coming up to give you a feel? There's a big fire energy. There's a big burning away energy. So we're going to talk about what that looks like, what the symptoms of that are, and how to work with that and navigate it. There's a completion taking place. There are the grids within the earth are shifting and transforming. The ley lines are activating. There's this tipping point taking place, and then our interpersonal network it's like the grid system, but of us as human beings, of this collective of humanity, is also shifting. So there are big collective shifts taking place, but also on a very individual level, starting with this fire and then starting with what you are going to be called to action. At the end of this month, you're going to have some level of a call to action. And so stay tuned and you'll find out, what those calls to action might look like and to feel what resonates for you. So to start, I'm going to talk about this fire. That is the energy. We're moving into this beautiful, beautiful December Sagittarius season we're in, and it is a burning away. And, if you've been doing shadow work and healing, you know that is not uncommon, right? We're always shedding layers. We're always letting go. We're shifting, right? But this is on a grand scale. This is a lot of the solar energy is shifting. A lot of these physical symptoms, mental kind of symptoms that we're feeling are about this, right? So chronic pain getting worse, chronic inflammation getting worse, or maybe you never had those issues and now they're showing up, joint stuff, different things like that, especially GI issues. Those are really showing up in this letting go, right? Our gut our mind and our guts are so connected through the vagus nerve, and our gut is this hub. It is a huge, area within our physical bodies that a lot of things show up. And fatigue is also connected here, between all of this that's taking place with the gut and the mind and, any sort of headaches or brain fog. But it's like our microbiome is going nuts. It's because everything is shifting. And when we're letting go, right, of emotions, of trapped energy, of programs, beliefs, whatever we're shedding, right, which right now it's literally all of it, right? It's all, whether it's in our mental body, our emotional body, our energetic body, it doesn't matter because our physical body is a representation of all of those. So that's why our physical bodies are feeling like we're going through the ringer. Like, what is going on? Am I dying? Like, am I okay? Like, of course, go get yourself checked out. Make sure, everything is great, or okay from a medical perspective. But it's because so much is taking place in these other bodies. And so all of those things ripple to the physical. And everything is shifting in these other bodies and up leveling, and that is manifesting in the physical. If you've been following along and tuning in, there's been a big theme around physical. If you've been doing the soul streams, if you're, $11 a month and you get access to all of these soul streams in the library, there's one for a cellular reset and there is a DNA repair. Those go hand in hand. Those are your best friend right now. Let that support this physical shift because our mental bodies are shifting, our emotional bodies are shifting, our energetic and our etheric bodies are shifting and evolving. And so is our physical. Everything is connected and interwoven. And, we're unlocking new layers and levels to what we are capable of as human beings on a physical level, our DNA, right? All of those types of things. And so as we're shedding all of this, our bodies are also going wonky, because not only our physical bodies are up leveling, but there's no consistency of what's taking place because we're in this massive shedding phase. So again, gut stuff, super, super common. Confusion, feeling confusion and almost like an overwhelming inner chaos it's almost like if an ego death was thrown into a tornado. An ego death being almost like this existential crisis or this identity collapse of who am I? Why am I here? What is the point of everything? What is the point of this reality? What is real? What is not? What is my purpose? What is that? All of those questions that we find that's an ego death. That's everything I thought I knew about myself. A mom or a career path, a title of, I'm a doctor or I'm a lawyer or I'm a teacher. Right? When those things, either fall away or they don't resonate or we feel like there's something more, all those identifiers shift, and that is the ego death. So it's almost like it feels kind of like an ego death, but in like a cyclone, because it feels chaotic and it feels like day to day, we don't know what's up and what's down. We don't know what's left and what's right. We don't know which way is forward and which way is backward. What do I do? What do? You anchor in and you hold on tight. Be a tree, right? Be a tree. Okay, so I will continue. Let's talk more about this fire and then we'll move on to these other things. But this fire, again, it is a big letting go and a big release. Fire is transmutation. But it's also, think fire mixed with air, because the air is the movement. It's what carries the stuff away. Fire burns it all. The air carries it away. Later on, and when you feel called to, you're going to want to cleanse with the water. You're going to want to take baths. You're going to want to take showers. But you're going to want to stay grounded, right? Using all of these elemental energies to create that balance. But right now, there is a big fiery releasing theme. Here's the thing. This is the mistake that I think a lot of people make right now and through this. And the big thing that came up for this is when we are releasing, right? Whether it is I'm releasing this identifier of myself, I am releasing these patterns, this relationship, this emotion, this guilt that I've been holding and carrying, these self-sabotaging behaviors, these patterns where I always find myself in the same relationships, right? Whatever it is that we're letting go of. I'm letting go of my ancestral trauma. I'm letting go of my mother wound. I'm letting go of the programming I received from childhood that tells me that I'm destined for poverty. All of these things, all of these, again, whether it's emotions, whether it's in the mental body, whether it's in the energetic, chances are it's in all three, and then it ripples into the physical. We're letting go of all of those things. What we don't want to do is disassociate. That is what tends to happen. Distraction is everywhere. Why do you think everything's so chaotic, right? We're being distracted left, right, and center. Holidays, shopping, family, politics, everything around us is here to distract us away from this. Because this is what happens when we are feeling distractions. We are out of our body. We are not present in our body, right? When we're doom scrolling on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, we're not most of the time super present. We are disassociating from what we are here to be in, to the things that we're feeling. Because as we release, you feel it, right? It doesn't wash away and you don't feel it on the way out. It's, Imagine a hook, like a fishing hook attached to a net, right? When the hook is just hanging out there and there's nothing pulling on it, you don't feel it and you don't really notice it. But when it starts to get pulled, right, because as the metaphor, the comparison to release, and you're pulling that fishing line with that hook, then you feel it and it fucking hurts and you don't want to feel it, but you got to feel it until you can yank that hook right out of that net and it lets go. So you feel it, but if you disassociate and you're not feeling it, you are limiting what you can release. Because when you disassociate, when we're not in our bodies, when we're not feeling it and experiencing it, and we're distracted and we're over here, we're, in other people's energies, we're paying attention to the news, and we're just doing all these other things except for being here and being present and home inside your body. When we're not there, the subconscious is running the show. So if you're off, bye-bye, like da-da-da-da-da over here, your subconscious is the one running the show. And your subconscious is going to hold on for dear life. Your subconscious doesn't want to let go. Your ego and your subconscious will be the ones running the show. The ego doesn't let go of things because the ego doesn't like change. The ego likes familiarity. The shadow and the subconscious, they're holding on for safe, because for them it's safety, right? Collapse feels unsafe, even though collapse needs to happen to evolve, to grow, to build something new. But when we disassociate, we're not running the show. But if we stay in the body and we stay present, that is truly what we want to do. And the thing is lower vibrational things are going to show up. There's entities all around. If you could see through the veil, so to speak, as many would call it, and you can see into these other dimensions, everything looks like chaos right now. The lower vibrational frequencies are running around, they're all like throwing whatever at the wall to see what sticks. So there's entities, there's energetic parasites, there's little critters and creatures all around, just playing around, fucking around. This is not the time to hyper-focus on those things and the why. You know the why. You're letting go of it. The reasons that these lower vibrational things cling to us are they're feeding off of low vibrational emotions and energies that we're holding on to. The reason that we need to know the details typically is to know what they're feeding on. You already know. You already know they're feeding on your guilt or your shame or your grief or your insecurities, or whatever, your childhood trauma, your past life karmic that you already know. You've already learned all these things. You don't need to dig into that. So the mental work, bye-bye, right? We are just being present. We are just being. Because the thing is if we just be in the body, present, anchored in, go outside, become a tree, anchor right in and be grounded and present, this stuff the fire's already lit. Everything's already burning away. You don't actually have to do anything. You've done the work. The work that is left, we're closing the book. We're ending these things. You already know what they are, so we don't need to keep revisiting the inner child over and over and over and over again. This is your permission slip to take a step back from that deep work. And of course, if you're new to this and you're like, I don't even know what she's talking about, then maybe it is, use your discernment if you feel like you need to dive into things. But for the most part, if you're watching this, you've done a lot of this stuff. And so as this stuff clears out, the things that feed on them are either going to go with it or they're going to just leave you alone. We're not here to fight a battle right now. The battle is being fought in another way. We are not showing up with our swords and our guns. Like, we're not here to fight these things right now. And it's just more distraction from keeping you with what actually is the focus, which is just being in your energy. If there was ever a time to hibernate, cancel plans, not go to all the holiday parties, just be in your energy and within yourself, this would be the time. December, right now. And of course, coincidental, right? This is the chaotic time of year where we're feeling obligated and pressured to show up here and to show up there and to be in this person's energy and let this person in our energy. Focus on you, prioritize you, because this is the end. This is what you've been waiting for. This is the washing away of all of the crap that you have been releasing and setting the stage for. You've been doing the inner work so that this can just wash away. And let this energy, let the solar energy, let the cosmic energy, let the energy of this month blow it away. Let that fire just do what it's got to do. Okay. I think that's all I have on this subject. Be in your energy. Again, being in someone else, you're not in yours. So you want to be solid. Call yourself back to your energy every single day, every single night. The more present you are, the more releases. All right? Okay, so if you're watching the Mystic Message, it's going to end here. We're going to get into now these what's coming after, and what this completion looks like, and what comes after, what's shifting with the grids, the ley lines, and the interpersonal networks, and what you're going to be called to action for after this. Okay, so if you're watching the Mystic Message, thank you for joining. Happy December. Come on over to fringespirit.com. You can subscribe for $11 a month and get access to all of the soul streams that can really help and support you during this time. Get access to group events and get access to the rest of this. And so you are not alone. If you need a community and you need to connect to people, please find it, reach out. It makes a big difference. All right, I love you.